We are endless. You are helpless. You have come alone.
And as long as my spark remains, I will never stop coming. And neither shall I.
The other has come.
You came, no matter the place and no matter the cost. I will not allow a friend to come alone. This video was sponsored in part by ToyHacks.com. Use the code LadiesVangelus through the month of February 2024 for 15% off your order of labels and other paraphernalia. Using the code supports the channel. Supporting the channel feeds the machine.
Greasers and truck nutters, this is internet personality Vangelus, and for a hot minute, it was very difficult to get a hold of any of the Rise of the Beasts Core Series Voyager-like class figures. I don't think it is anymore. Either way, this is Optimus Prime, from all those brand words I just said. The pseudo-budget alternative to what would become Studio Series 102 Optimus Prime, albeit at nearly the same price depending on the time and place, this companion piece to the previously reviewed Core Series Optimus Primal that we're all calling a Voyager for simplicity's sake is yet another chapter in the tale of 2023 Optimus Prime toys that are pretty good, actually. Let's find out why. Starting off, Core Series Optimus Prime has a very strong and greeble-loaded sculpt, with visually morphic proportions that occasionally trend in a power of the Force direction depending on the angle. What does that mean? It means he sometimes looks like a muscle-bound pinhead to me, and I don't mind. It really works with Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime's naturally thick thighs and teasingly opened pectoral window panels. There are only a few sticky outy panels on his shoulders and forearms, but the real visual loss on this mode is the bare-bones paintwork. All three major Optimus colors are present, but as minimally as possible, robbing the intense bot mode sculpt of a lot of dynamic visibility. Can this be solved easily? Oh, yeah. In fact, many people have already done the work to prove the raw power of applying even the most basic of ink washes to Core Series Optimus Prime's abs and thighs. As far as accessories, Prime's gun is the only one included, but it's fine. The simple black stick of a rifle matches with the available proportions, and you can even slap it onto Prime's back for a quick storage solution. The barrel is also locked, cocked, and equipped with a 3mm hole to receive any similarly pegged effect parts. Let the boom bang bracka-brap handle whatever adversaries may come! Also, I noticed that a lot of my effect parts don't have a peg on them, they have a socket on them. That could be problematic to actually make any of this work. There's some cool stuff going on in here. The least cool part is that the head is just on one hard swivel. It's not a ball socket connection, it's just a hard swivel on a plank. So as much as it looks like it is sculpted and stuff, it only really gets left and right turny motions. However, the shoulders, they do all the shoulder things, right? Forwards and backwards, outwards with a bicep swivel. However, if you look inside, the way they work results in some kind of cool, like, inner detail, and on a Core Series thing, like, that's sort of neat to see. Also, thanks to the transformation, the elbow joint super curls into basically looking double hinged, and the wrist joint is a ball socket joint, so it swivels, and then thanks to the transformation, it can fold inwards. Why does this matter? You can position things such that you kind of get that roidy, hunked-in kind of hook arm silhouette without, literally being like inward bending elbows. I think that's kind of cool. What's also kind of cool is the way that the torso works. So there is a waist joint down here. It's kind of limited. However, you use that in tandem with the transformation joint up here, and you get an actual, like, natural version of how a waist would turn, not literally just being a hunk that turns at the waist, but a sort of coiling of your upper torso musculature. I think that's really neat on something that's ostensibly the kind of non-collector toy, or the non-collector toy line at least. This is still, you know, Voyager-esque. Also, if you undo a transformation hinge, you get a friggin' ab crunch that doesn't look that bad. Really high marks up here in the torso, and high marks down here in the hips. There's dedicated, you know, friction-clipped outward skirts. So the skirt, front skirt part, it's that design I like where it moves as the top of the leg, which is a very efficient way to get detail and articulation range. You can go all the way out here. You've got big meaty thighs with big meaty swivels. There's a big, just thick knee hinge, and you can do all this stuff in tandem to have Optimus Prime, like, straight up do the Dominator walk, and I appreciate that. Also, yonder ankles. Not only do they tilt, but thanks to the transformation, they have actual usable forward and backward tilting, and then as you might have noticed, there is a hinged bit in there where if you don't mind that, you know, disappearing into the shin, you got a ton of range on the feet, if you want it. This is a really fun articulated Optimus Prime with a good silhouette and a neat, like, nothing feels like it's missing tier of articulation suite. A ball-socketed neck with a ton of emotive range would have made this, like, high-end tier. Getting the milquetoast part out of the way, I'll just say that Core Series ROTB Prime uses a rote transformation skeleton that absolutely is just one of those G1 Optimus Prime arrangements. However, I think there are a number of small tweaks and twists that elevate this process, along with an extremely satisfying number of tabs and slots. Like, nearly every moving part untabs from one mounting point and then ends its motion by re-tabbing into a completely different mounting point. Not to mention some very smart and simple angles on the elbows and shoulders to let them sit back a bit farther, or the Earthrise style thigh-borne inflatable truck boxes, which work better than the ones on Earthrise Prime. Or the cherry on top that makes me happy, the feet and shins rotating to make the back of the truck an actual kind of back of a truck, rather than protruding shoes, synced in with a trailer hitch that actually takes part in locking things together. All things considered, I like how this Optimus truck turned out. It's solid, it's cubish, and its inaccuracies tend to be so chunky that I just see them as a series of bulked out armor mods. Like, yeah, the back of the truck looks like he's carrying a tiny wagon made of feet, but the shapes run together smoothly in my opinion. And if there were a few spots of paint to pick out the rear lights, I think it'd really highlight what I like about the leg transformation's outcome. That 5mm trailer hitch is also the designed gun storage, with a little crafted rectangular divot to cleanly contain Prime's sole accessory. It is kinda set up to blast his own spine, but a small tweak of the imagination can see it as a turbo nitrous energon power conducer, obviously. This isn't a collector-grade Optimus Prime made to shake the foundation of our collecting world, but it is a damn fine non-Studio Series movie bot that hits the full trinity of quality benchmarks for me. I like the robot mode, I like the truck mode, and I dig the transformation process in both directions. Add in that surprisingly filled out articulation suite, and you've got a figure that I'd easily recommend at retail price, collapse in sorrow at any kind of aftermarket markup price, and bullishly hurl at anyone for a discount or liquidation price. With the Rise of the Beast Core series drifting into the distance, I hope you Ross trawlers can get at this piece for as cheap as chips. The potato chips are probably cheaper than French fries. I don't know why the British say... Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and it's such a pleasure to handle another low-key triumph from the mysterious Transformers LA-based design team. It's also a pleasure to thank my Patreon patrons and YouTube members for their direct support, plunging a rifle full of inspiration and power straight into the spine of my truck mode.